Welcome back to another episode of Skinfluence. I'm your host, Dr. Dustin Portella, board-certified dermatologist.
And I'm Austin, physician assistant, working with Dr. Portella.
And we're coming to you today talking about pore size, something that gets a lot of buzz on social media, trying to shrink your pores, erase them, make them go away forever. But we're going to look at that, see if you can actually do it.
Can you get the glass skin?
Yeah.
Is it possible?
I don't know.
Yeah. So pores, they're definitely an area of a topic of conversation on social media.
Yeah.
A lot of different marketing products are out there telling you that we can get your pores to shrink or make them, minimize them so you don't see them. But let's just start at the beginning. What is a pore?
So a pore is an opening on the skin. It is a physiologic structure, usually where a hair is coming out. Mm-hmm. And that can be a terminal hair from the top of your head, or it could be a vellus hair, just a little, peach fuzz-like thing that, you have them on your face, whether you know them or not. And then you get terminal hairs, men get beards, and then you get terminal hairs all over the older you get, it seems. Yep. But they also have an oil gland attached to them that produces sebum. Now you have different types of pores in different areas of the body. Like in your ears, they don't produce sebum. They produce cerumen, which is your earwax. But essentially, pores are an important structure of the skin that help to moisturize the skin. That oil also has some antibacterial and antiviral properties to help keep your skin healthy. It makes up some of the components of your skin barrier. So pores are very important, and they're there for a reason. Yeah.
And very often we look at them as defects in our skin, or very often they're seen as a ugly appearance. But like you were saying, they serve a very important function, and we don't want to mess up that function too much.
Yeah. And when you do, in skin that has a scar, you're not going to have pores in those areas. You don't sweat. They often don't have the same color as your surrounding skin. And so when you start messing up with your pores too much, or you have an injury, there's problems. Yeah. Usually things you don't like more than the appearance of the pores that you had. Yeah. And your pore size, can you really change it? Like what determines your pore size?
Yeah. Well, one of the main things that determines our pore size is our genetics.
Yeah.
So we inherit, it's in our DNA for our pores to be the size that they are. And some people have larger pores that are more prominent, some don't, and that's just how it goes.
And when it comes to oil production, your oil production also can be largely determined by your genetics, and then hormones play a big role in oil production. So you have androgen receptors at those oil glands that produce the oil that goes into the follicle and up and out the pore. And when, anybody goes through puberty, that's when we start to see acne, because you start producing way more oil during that time. And if you have some inflammation in the skin, you're producing a lot of oil, they can get plugged up and you start to get acne. And I think this is where people start getting concerned about pores. We don't really worry about them in kids because they're just not prominent, but they grow significantly and become much more active as our hormones start to increase through the adolescent years, kind of peaking at size, in your early 20s. And then once again, they can, as their hormones start to decline through middle age, then the pores can start to become more prominent in older age due to collagen loss. Exactly. And we'll talk a little bit about why that is as well. But the pores do, several important functions. Also, it, plays a role in your skin elasticity. As your skin elasticity decreases, the pores are going to become more prominent.
Totally.
And then tell us a little bit about UV damage, collagen loss, and how that impacts the appearance of pores.
Yeah, so UV damage, or excess UV on our skin, burning of the skin, sun exposure over time, it causes us to lose collagen. It causes collagen to not be produced as much as your body probably needs, and that causes those pores to be really inelastic. They fill up with debris, with oil, and they're the sebaceous filaments, as we like to say, and then they just kind of stay that way. Yeah. And they lose the ability to, they don't really contract really, but they're not as elastic where they can move. And so collagen definitely can be damaged by the sun. If you lose collagen, those pores open and they stay that way.
There's just less structure around. If you think your skin is firm and supple when you're younger, and as you lose collagen, the skin becomes wrinkly, softer, thinner, and the pores are still there. Yeah. But all the structure kind of keeping them tight and closed,
scaffolding holding them there,
is gone. And it leads to, in the severe cases, Favre-Roquechal, which is like one of my favorite things to see on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
When people have favre rochachat, and it's due to severe sun damage. Usually what you'll see is huge dilated pores and lots of blackheads across the cheeks, under the eyes, up over the nose. They're super easy to do extractions on, but it is the extreme case of pores that are just so dilated because there's no collagen structure around them to kind of keep them tight. So they fill up with that debris and then it just doesn't get pushed out.
Yeah.
And it's fun to do extractions on those.
Yeah.
And if I see it, I try to do them in the clinic. I don't want to hand it off to the esthetician.
Yeah.
Because it's just fun to do. It's like so satisfying.
Yeah.
It's worse in smokers too. Smoking is very damaging to your collagen. Yeah,
it's very damaging to the skin. And you get the same effect as basically the sun. They're just going to become inelastic and stretch open. Some other things so there's a lot of products out there that say we're going to shrink your pores. Are they worth it? Are they shrinking your pores?
No, I mean that's marketing. So as we've already established, your pore size is genetic. I tell patients your pore size is like your shoe size. It's kind of genetically determined.
Yeah.
So you can't shrink them. What the products are trying to do is minimize the appearance of the pores by removing some of the superficial debris, getting those sebaceous filaments out. And in the early days of TikTok, like 2020, 2021, a lot of these products were super popular.
Really?
There was this foam product that people were rubbing on their skin. And then they were claiming that it was just, all this stuff was just getting sucked out of the pores. The product was called a pore vacuum. And it was like a foam that you would rub on your skin. I think I have one in my office because I bought it to show people that it doesn't work. And it's just the product itself pilling up.
Oh, no kidding.
And so the product, it kind of gels together. Yeah. So people would rub it on and then they would see all this stuff and it would, pick up a little oil from your skin so they'd get a little darker and people were like, oh, look at that. It's coming out of my pores. But it's not.
Yeah.
And I did a video where I showed people, like I took the product, I put it on my hand, I rubbed it around, and then I took that stuff and I put it on a microscope slide. And then I took the product on gloves. So I put it on a glove and I rubbed it with a glove and the product, came together. And I put that on a microscope slide and I showed a video of what each of them looked like under the skin. And they were identical. Like the stuff that was all clumped together was just the product. And I showed, on the one where I rubbed it on my hand, like this is a skin cell, this is a skin cell.
Yeah.
But the clumps that you're seeing, exactly the same with or without contact to the skin.
That's wild.
And so a lot of these products just don't live up to the hype. And you're paying $20, $30 for something that literally cannot do what it advertises to do, like shrink your pores.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. It's crazy how these things can take over the internet and become so successful too.
Yeah, and I think it's gotten worse with TikTok Shop affiliates because the affiliates can get on there and they can kind of say whatever they want. They're not an employee of the company.
Yeah.
And so if it's harder for them to get in trouble. Now the company could say, hey, we don't like that video. We want you to take it down. That's not representing our product well. But if that video sold thousands of dollars worth of product because it went viral, the company doesn't have a strong incentive to go tell that person to stop because the company's not saying it. If you look on the company's website, they're not making the claims that some of these TikTok Shop affiliate marketers are making.
They're just
saying whatever they want because they want to make more sales. They get a 10 to 30% commission off every product.
Yeah.
And so it's this gray area where a lot of misleading marketing happens almost by design. The companies are not telling people to say these things, but people that want to make money are figuring out, hey, if I present it this way, I saw somebody else's video go viral, I'm going to do that, and then my video is going to go viral. And so you're getting a lot of people out there who they're not employed by the company, but they're representing the product in a way to drive money for themselves.
That's wild. It's genius that companies can protect themselves that way and allow people to make claims about products that just aren't true. But hey, well, are there products out there that can help shrink your pore size or make them look smaller that you know of?
There's a number of things that can, and we'll get into a bunch of them, but it's not the quick fixes or the amazing overnight miracles that you see on TikTok Shop. But there are some things, and we'll kind of give everybody the products that we do recommend as helping to minimize the appearance of your pores, as well as some of the procedures you might go through in the office. But before we get into all of that, let's jump into a little Did You Know?
All right. Did you know that pore size, as we talked about, pores will start to open up, they fill up, it peaks around your 20s and 30s. And then you'll notice them kind of wax and wane as we produce oils, as our hormones change. But then at that time that we talked about, they slowly may appear larger because of that inelasticity. So 20s and 30s is the peak, and then it's all downhill from there.
All downhill from there. It seems like it's everything in your body. It's all downhill from there.
After 30, yeah.
I'm fighting hard to maintain.
You're doing a good job.
I went in today and did a test for my VO2 max, on the treadmill with the hose that you're breathing through and everything. Just trying to get different metrics on my body. I did a DEXA scan recently to get my bone density, my body fat percentage. And so I'm trying to dive into a lot more data to see where am I actually at right now? And I've been slacking off a little bit on my workout, so it's giving me some extra motivation to go do more. I've been wearing a CGM and all those things. So
that's kind of sweet.
Yeah. So my did you know, just a little kind of a new emerging trend is we're starting to see more and more AI skin analyzers.
Yes.
Have you seen these pop up on the App Store different things?
I've seen quite a few, and even just if you submit a picture on ChatGPT,
even on ChatGPT,
it'll just analyze your skin.
And so I haven't played around with them a lot. I've been I went over to the La Roche-Posay headquarters in France a couple of years ago, and they had a version, and it would analyze your skin. And I don't know how it's processing the images to tell you it looks dry here, and it would highlight different things. And then, of course, they're recommending products that can help address the problems. But one of the things that a lot of these will point out is pore size or blemishes, of course.
Of course.
And I think that you always need to be mindful when you're using these tools as they become more popular, what the recommendations, what is the agenda behind them. Mm-hmm. I think that in general, these kinds of things should be recommending a broad range of products, from multiple companies.
Yes.
Because if you're using one and it's tied to a specific company, they're only going to recommend the products that they sell, which I understand. I would do too from a business standpoint. But it's something that I think consumers are going to have to deal with more and more is AI analyzing you and telling you what you need. And maybe you don't need all of that stuff. So just kind of be mindful of that as we go forward. People are turning to AI more than healthcare providers. They're doing Google searches. They're doing AI inquiries. And ultimately, sometimes you're okay just as you are. Yeah. So I just think it's something to be curious about, but also watch out for.
Yeah, definitely an emerging field, and there's going to be some conflict of interest in some of them for sure. I did some research years ago. This was maybe 2018 or 19 into apps, and I was wondering how many patients before they go see a doctor consult Google, because this was before AI. And it was a number, I forget the exact number, but it was I think it was close to 70% of people. Yeah. If they're having some sort of symptom before they consult their doctor, or maybe while they're waiting, they call their doctor to get in, they're consulting Google or the internet to try to find things to help them before they even get to the doctor. Yeah. And so as AI comes out and is more targeted and a little bit more streamlined in recommending things and trying to diagnose stuff, I can see that being an issue. But maybe a help for some people. But
yeah, I think it will improve in the health of a lot of people if it's used properly. But if you're using a non-specific LLM, just like basic ChatGPT or Claude, it's not specifically trained on health. And this is why also I've joined Future Clinic, which I think we've talked about before, which is it uses some AI to help take the data from the patient, but it allows me to quickly go through patient information and offer real telehealth appointments to people. And so for anybody listening, we've probably talked about it before, but you can get appointments with me on Future Clinic where I'm able to look at your photos, look at the medical problems that you have, the things that you've used for your skin, and then send in actual prescriptions. And I love that every encounter that I do will come with a digital signature, meaning you're going to get a voice note or a video from me that's done in real time. It can't be pre-recorded. I can't upload it, the same video for every patient. And so I try to always call the patient by name so they know, I'm really recording this for you. Yeah. But it's, it's not prescribed by AI. It's like prescribed by me. I select the treatments. And so right now it's available in Idaho, Utah, and New York, but I'm working actively to increase the number of state licenses. And I think by the midsummer, we'll probably be up to like 20 different states.
That's amazing.
So we'll have a link to that in the podcast show notes. If you want an AI telehealth consult, AI augmented, but it's still me at the end of the day. It's still me with a real human. Then we can do that. And if you're struggling with pore size or acne or rosacea or eczema, like I can send prescriptions and give you real counseling, and you can message me anytime to get additional advice.
Which is beautiful. AI can't take away the human touch. So.
Right. Well, let's continue on with the things that will actually improve the look of your pores. And like I said, these are not always the sexy, flashy things that you'll see on TikTok Shop. But what are kind of your go-tos if somebody doesn't like the appearance of their pores? Are there any ingredients that you turn to?
Yes. So I always try to assess what type of skin they have. Do they have oily skin, dry skin, or combination skin? Because if they're really oily, I'll try to do things that will help combat some of that oiliness. If they're getting acne or if they're getting a little pimples here and there, sometimes we can even do things like spironolactone or even topical version of it, not exactly spironolactone, but called Winlevi that we like to use. And that can reduce oil production and help keep those pores looking less full.
Yeah.
The go-to, obviously, tretinoin. Is everyone's favorite, as every provider's favorite to go to for help. Now, sometimes we do get caught in the wave of saying this is going to help your pore size. It's not helping the pore size, but it'll help slow down the cell turnover rate, help collagen maybe be produced a little bit better, and then help the appearance of the pores look less full. Right.
Yeah, so I love using retinoids here. They're also going to stimulate the collagen production so that you get less collagen loss as you age and you don't get the pores dilating over time. It helps to reduce the thickness of the stratum corneum. That's the dead skin cell layer. So there's less stuff there to plug up the pores. I agree with you on the spironolactone, either orally or the topical Winlevi clascoterone, or we can compound spironolactone through a compounding pharmacy as well. Niacinamide is another ingredient that it probably helps a little bit with oil production. Niacinamide does a lot of stuff. It's not the perfect thing for basically anything, but it helps with a lot of different things. It can help with acne, pigmentation, oil production. So a lot of the topicals that you'll use over the counter are going to have niacinamide in them as well. And like you said, focusing on the oil production, the accumulation of debris in the pores can minimize their appearance, but still not changing the pore size.
Yeah. So a common misconception that I know you see in clinic, I see in clinic, is people will come in and they'll say, I am just covered in blackheads on my nose. And you look at their nose and you go, those aren't blackheads.
Right.
Those are what we call sebaceous filaments. Those are just your pores filling up with stuff. And so these like retinols and tretinoin and all of that can help kind of get rid of some of that, help the turnover. But it's one of those common things where people think, I have blackheads. How do I have blackheads? And it's not blackheads.
They're not. And I see people do extractions. I'm like, it's going to be back in 2 days.
Yep. Totally.
You're going to produce that oil again. So salicylic acid is another thing that I often recommend. It's considered a beta hydroxy acid, and it's able to kind of cut down that oil on the surface of the skin, loosen up those sebaceous filaments. So that does help. I've noticed on my daughter, she's starting to get more sebaceous filaments as she's a teenager now. And so it's one of the products I've taken home is like a salicylic acid wash. She doesn't have a lot of acne, but she's just getting more texture to the skin, which is very common. And she's not bothered by it, but we're just kind of tweaking her skincare routine a little bit for that.
Yeah, that's great. So there are different, aside from prescriptions or topicals, we have a lot of cosmetic treatments available that can help with eliminating some of the debris on the skin, dead skin, and then helping to try to produce some collagen. What are some of your favorite?
It's going to depend on, the aggressiveness of the procedure, but I think we can always start with chemical peels. You can use things like a glycolic acid peel in really, sun-damaged skin. I'll often use trichloroacetic acid at higher percentages to really rejuvenate the skin. But that will have some tightening effect. It's going to strip away a lot of the dead skin, give you a more even complexion. For patients who have acne, we do a lot of salicylic acid peels. We'll use 20 or 30% salicylic acid, which is way higher than you should ever use at home.
Yeah.
But when you're, in a medical setting where we can supervise, we can neutralize, we can remove it if we start to see things, taking up too much. Salicylic acid peels can be really good as well. So chemical peels are one of the things that we can use, probably underutilized overall, is medical chemical peels for pore tightening.
Yeah. They help with a lot more than just pore tightening, but they do a good job for that for sure.
Yeah.
And then finally, there's carbon dioxide lasers. They'll just give you a nice fresh surface, basically.
Yeah. CO2 lasers, they've been around forever, but they're still so good.
Yeah.
Now, it's not something everybody can do. If you have darker skin tones, it is something you have to be careful with the amount of energy that's being delivered. But it goes down and it basically is going to create holes in the skin. I kind of liken this to aerating the lawn, where you see all the little plugs get pulled out and you leave normal skin between in a fractionated CO2 laser treatment. But that will stimulate your body to heal. You caused an injury, it has to heal. And the injury is so small, it's going to lay down healthy collagen. It's not going to create scars. And so you're going to get some tightening around the pores. And I've seen incredible results doing CO2 laser on patients for fine lines and wrinkles because you see so much more collagen production that happens.
Yeah.
And as a byproduct of that, you'll see less pores. And I don't necessarily love doing it on younger patients, but I have who just don't like their pores. And we'll do moderately aggressive CO2 lasers, and patients tend to be very happy with it.
Yeah.
And if you don't want all that downtime, we always have microneedling as well.
Yeah, microneedling is a wonderful option. My own wife, she didn't like her pores, and she was mid-20s. We did a CO2 on her, and she loved it. There's obviously there's recovery time.
Sure.
And, it's not the easiest, prettiest looking initially, but as you heal, the skin does do a good job.
Yeah.
If you take care of it in the right way.
Did she have a pretty aggressive treatment?
Yeah, I did it.
You did it? Yeah.
So it was bad. It wasn't bad. It was just really, I think, more aggressive than she was anticipating. I tried to build it up to her and let her know, but I think it was because it was me. She was just like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And
she was laid up in bed for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually do it to myself over the holidays, but I didn't this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do it after I get back from AAD if my schedule will allow, because we got a new imaging machine in the office.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to do like the high, definition photos before and after, so patients can really see what it does. But it's something that I put off this year, but I do plan to do it.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
So when you're treating your pores, if you want to make them look smaller, you really have to be consistent with any topical that you're using. And I think one topical that we've not really touched on in this podcast is sunscreen. Yeah,
for sure.
So if you're going to protect that collagen, sunscreen is the most beneficial thing that you can do.
Yeah. Sun is the biggest thing that's going to cause wrinkles in the skin. It's the most common thing that's going to cause collagen loss in the skin, damaging the DNA of the skin. It causes all sorts of things. So it's like beating a dead horse in dermatology, but sunscreen is the best anti-aging thing you can be using on your skin.
You want your pore size to look better when you're old? Sunscreen. You want less pigmentation when you're old? Sunscreen. You want fewer lines and wrinkles when you're old? Sunscreen. I mean, it's like the number one answer for everything. So, one temptation that people have when they don't like their pore size, they get frustrated, is they just go full bore.
They go ham.
With over-the-counter products trying to do it.
Yep.
What happens if you overdo it?
If you're using too many actives, you're going to damage the skin barrier. So you're going to do the exact opposite of what you're trying to achieve. You're going to damage the skin barrier. Your skin's going to get dry. It's going to get tight. You're going to actually damage the ability for your skin to produce collagen and function normally. And it's just going to make your skin worse overall. You're going to get red. You're going to get flaky. And maybe that inflammation is going to make your pores look a little smaller, but
in the short term,
but in the long term, you're just going to hurt your skin. So keeping things simple is always our recommendation. Yeah. Like you have discussed, use sunscreen, use an active. So use like a retinol or tretinoin or something like that. And then if your skin can tolerate it, add a salicylic acid type wash morning and night. If it's too drying, maybe do it once a day and then a hydrating wash.
Yeah. Yeah, if you are breaking down your skin barrier and you're causing a lot of inflammation in the skin, you will actually start to increase and upregulate something called matrix metalloproteinases. And this is an enzyme that shows up in the skin and it starts to break down collagen, and it can lead to increased blood vessel formation. It's a common problem in rosacea.
Yeah.
And so you get, a worse appearance of the skin with bigger looking pores, more redness, a weaker skin barrier, more sensitive skin when you start overdoing it. And so if you're really frustrated by the appearance of your pores and you don't have the patience to use a product over the counter for 3 months to start to see some improvement, go see a dermatologist. If you want a more quick fix, talk about microneedling, lasers, chemical peels. If you can handle the downtime, you're going to see bigger results in a shorter period of time. But then you can follow that up with the other things that will kind of maintain that over the long term.
Yeah.
And you really just have to have that long-term mindset. Is your skin generally doesn't change overnight, and for the better or for the worse. And so if you've gradually noticed your pores are looking bigger over time, it's going to take time to get them to look a little bit smaller. So just be patient and treat your skin well.
Yep, treat your skin well. And if you have questions or doubts, go to Future Clinic and schedule an appointment with Dr. Portela.
Or if you're in Boise, come see us in person.
Yeah, exactly.
So as we wrap up, we want to share with you guys our product of the week. And we actually have the Mantle skincare set here. This is a cleanser, a moisturizer, and one of my favorite sunscreens, the Mantle Invisible Daily SPF. So this is the basic skincare routine for anybody. Not a ton of actives in it. There's a little exfoliator in the moisturizer, but it's not like real harsh.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a cleanser, you're going to protect your skin, you're going to moisturize and repair your skin barrier. And this is the least expensive complete skincare routine that we offer in the office. And so you can get all 3 products for $30. Making those purchases through the link in the podcast show notes helps to support the podcast, helps us to keep going, to pay for the editing and all of the other stuff that we're trying to do to help bring this education to you guys. And if you want just one of the products, they're available individually or as the complete set. So make sure to check those out. And then always give us a follow on Instagram at skinfluence_pod. You can find me under at Dr. Dustin Portela on all social media platforms. I'm active pretty much everywhere you could be.
Yeah, and you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat at Austin Lee PAC.
Leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.